During the last session, you started out in the Vistani camp, and you found that your traveling companion, Thalamir, had disappeared. Whether by his own agency or some dark power, the Wood Elf was nowhere to be found. The Vistani leader, Luvash, remember you had celebrated with him and his group of Vistani because you had returned his daughter Arabelle from near-death experience at the hand of a strange cult that was operating in Zarevich Landing. Luvash introduced you to the dour, grim Grey Elf named Casimir, and you spoke with Casimir for quite a while. He was unable to provide any information on the whereabouts of Thalamir, but he did provide a treasure trove of information on other topics. First off, Casimir mentioned that he was one of the last remaining members of Dusk Elves who inhabited the Valley of Barovia for centuries. His people predate even Strahd, who had come to the valley with his army to subdue and enslave the people of Barovia. Shortly thereafter, the valley was swallowed by the mists. The Dusk Elves fought against Strahd and his army, but they were defeated. Casimir's sister, Petrina, was for some reason drawn to Strahd. She was studying the arcane arts, and she was somehow corrupted, is what Casimir believes, and that led her to Strahd and Castle Ravenloft. She trained Strahd in necromancy and the occult, and the two apparently fell in love. Or perhaps she was charmed into being drawn to Strahd. I guess it's unclear there. But before they could be wed, Casimir and the few remaining Dusk Elves captured her and stoned her to death. He was still pretty remorseful and it kind of broke him as an elf. He thought that they were doing a good thing by saving her soul from being devoured by the dark power of Strahd. But still, it must be terrible to have to do something like that, or to feel like you have to do something like that. Strahd retaliated by sending out a traitorous Dusk Elf named Rahadin to murder the remaining female Dusk Elves in Barovia. So they basically slaughtered all of the female Dusk Elves. And as a final affront to Casimir's decision, they cut off his ears. If you remember, he took off his cap and his ears were cut off. Since then, the Dusk Elves have basically kept their heads down and have lived amongst the Vistani, just sort of biding their time. He believes that the secret to breaking Strahd's will over the land is hidden somewhere in the Amber Temple. So you've heard of the Amber Temple now a couple times. And he knows how to get there. He also mentioned that the Amber Temple is very dangerous, a place of great evil power, and that it's an ancient vault hidden in the Barovian Mountains to the south. This happens to be where Strahd gained his powers and solidified his control over the land, so that's why he believes that somehow the temple holds the key to Strahd's demise. He's been watching the temple for years, hoping to one day find the secret, but it's very dangerous, and so he hasn't ventured very far into the temple itself. He also believes that the secret to bringing his sister Petrina back to life, so that she can be properly laid to rest, lies within the temple. He did say that he would be willing to guide your party to the temple once you were ready. Once he felt that you were ready, but again, very dangerous place, and he warned about just going in there willy-nilly. After that, you set off to Vallaki to meet up with Irina and continue your search for answers. You were stopped at the gates of Vallaki and questioned by the local guards as to your business and your opinions on the Devil Strahd. They gave you a bit of a lecture on Vallaki laws. They registered your weapons, and you were granted access into the city. Once inside, you made your way through the streets looking for a way to offload the rug that you've decided, or that you received as a thank you from the Vistani. First, you went to the blacksmith shop, Thimdul's Armaments. Mm-hmm. You spoke with Pirzim Rowley, the proprietor there. He was a bit gruff, kind of busy. He couldn't really help you with the rug, but he did show Smitty his finest set of knives. You decided not to purchase any of the knives, but on the way out, you stole one. You also visited the Dusklight supply shop run by an old woman named Bethel Chevezny. You tried to sell your rug to her, but she wasn't very interested. Your next stop was the Blue Water Inn, where you met Erwin Marketov and Danica Dorakova. They were the owners of their little bed and breakfast, as they were calling it. Let's see. Inside the tap room, Flinta was able to get her hands on some wine. The party secured a room for the night. Enna browsed the menu, but was a bit skeptic of wolf steaks.
Yep.
Still looking to offload the rug, you set out for the local apothecary and a potential ally named Anya Travali. Along the way, you crossed the town square, where you noticed a large, well-built gallows on a raised platform in the center of town. Surrounding the gallows were a series of stocks inhabited by several men, women, and children wearing crude plaster donkey masks. There were some posters announcing the Festival of the Sun that you noticed. So then you got to the apothecary, which was just down the road. Half-elf named Anya, who happens to be an acquaintance of Casimir. Enna inquired about purchasing a healing potion, which Anya mentioned that she'd be able to craft for you, but that would take her some time.
There was an ingredient that she needed to get from someone else, somewhere else, and it was going to take a day to get it.
Okay. And Smitty, you asked about purchasing poison, and she mentioned that she'd have to find the ingredients in order to craft that.
Yep.
She suggested that you return the next day to check in on the progress.
Yep.
She also offered some information to you about, let's see, the Festival of the Sun celebration and the Burgomaster, Baron Vargas Vallaki, and that the Festival of the Sun was going to happen in 3 days' time, following last week's Wolf Head Jamboree, which may explain why there were so many wolf heads on pikes out in front of the gate when you arrived. The Burgomaster and the Vallakians believe that these festivals keep the devil at bay, and given that there has been a vampire presence in recent history, there may be some truth to this idea. She said that you should try to steer clear of the Burgomaster's henchman Isaac Strahd, who has a history of violence. He's got a deformity. He is the Justice of Vallaki. He works directly for the Burgomaster. Mm-hmm. She also mentioned that no one hates the Burgomaster more than Lady Fiona Wachter, who is the richest and second most powerful person in town. She lives in an old mansion at the north side of the city with her family. Anya suggests that Lady Fiona may have an interest in your rug. With that, I think where we ended, you had just gotten to the mansion.
Yeah, I just had the door. Yep.
Okay. So we'll resume with you standing outside the door to the Wachter house.
Yep. I think last time we knocked on it and the peephole opened.
Oh, okay.
And
yep, I do remember that. So you knock on the door, and you see there's like this little peephole sort of like plaque that opens up, slides open. What do you want?
We'd like to speak to Lady Fiona, please.
Who are ya?
We're travelers and merchants, and we've been told that the lady might be interested in this fine rug.
Fine rug? We have many fine rugs.
I don't know if you've seen the likes of this. This is phenomenal. It's got gold in it. It's beautifully crafted, and we were told that if she's not interested, that the Burgomaster would be interested in it.
Really? Roll a persuasion check for me.
Sorry, I'm not got situation here. 20.
The peephole slides shut, and all of a sudden you hear the of unlocking the doors, and the door swings open. Come on in. I'll see if the lady of the house is interested in this rug.
Thank you, fine sir.
So you walk into the vestibule, and there's 3 stained glass doors in wooden frames, 2 that are sort of off to the sides, flanking you behind you, and then 1 directly in front of you. So you're in this little vestibule area, and he says, "Follow me." And you walk in through one of the glass doors. You take a left into what appears to be some sort of a large dining room. You walk in, and there's an ornate dining table stretching the length of the room, a crystal chandelier hanging above it. The silverware is tarnished, the dishes chipped, yet all the dishes are quite elegant, but they do look old. There's 8 chairs around the table, and their backs are adorned with sculpted elk horns surrounding the table. Arched windows made of lattice work of iron and glass look out onto the fog-swept estate. And he says, "Wait here, and I'll get the lady."
Thank you.
So he walks off. You see him disappear back into the vestibule, and the door shuts. So in front of you is this large table, and then behind you, or off to the left, I would say, is a little parlor, and there's a smaller like coffee table, round sort of oval coffee table, and 3 couches sort of sitting around it.
I'm looking for a place to roll out this rug. Is there a empty spot?
Yeah, there's a you would have to maybe move. How big is the rug again? 10 foot by 10 foot?
Yeah, mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, you'd have to move one of the couches. I mean, if you wanted to drape it out completely flat on the ground. So you could move one of the couches if you wanted to.
I think we need to tread lightly with her. Let's hold on just for a second. Let me make an introduction as a member of the guild. As a guild member, she might look favorably upon that.
On the table, could I do a perception check to see if there's? Did you say there's silverware lined up? Trying to see if it's silver or not. 14.
Yeah, I mean, to the best of your knowledge, it looks like elegant yet tarnished silverware, and there's 2 forks on one side of these plates, and then there's a knife and a spoon.
All right.
You know, if you're gonna
So it's not a full set. It's
if
just
you're
a
gonna do
table
any
setting.
It's just a table setting, yeah.
helping yourself, you want to wait until we're done with this deal.
I didn't. This is just going in my head right now.
No, I know, but I know you, and I'm telling you.
All right. I'm waiting for the deal to be done too.
Thank
She's
you.
got silver.
That's fine. We'll
what I was
just
looking for.
let's just play it cool. So I think we gotta walk. You have to walk this lightly here.
So as you're waiting, you look around. There's a blazing hearth to sort of the left, and the couches are sort of, let's say this is the table here, and there's a couch here, here, and here, and the hearth is where you're sitting.
Right.
It's blazing as if it was just stoked. Above the hearth, there's a portrait of a smirking nobleman who seems to be sporting a broken nose and a tangle of gray hair at the temples. And then there's several other smaller portraits on the walls around the room. Do you want to do anything else? You have another little bit here before.
I'm thinking about what happens if she comes down and isn't happy to see us and we get to fighting. Keeping an eye out for ways to get out and just defensive things. And
Well, there's furniture in the room, as I mentioned. There are 3 windows in the dining area that look out upon the estate.
we didn't need to turn in our weapons. We just needed to let them know what we had, right?
When you came into
Yeah,
Vallaki.
okay.
Yep.
So we're still fully. We got all of our weapons.
Correct. Yep. With that, you hear some walking. It sounds like someone's coming down the stairs, and the door swings open, and the little man who had answered the door opens the door up and walks in at first. He says, "May I present to you the Lady of Wachter House, Lady Fiona Wachter." And he kind of bows and steps to the side, and she walks through. And this woman comes in, and she's very tall. She's very white, pale skin. She looks older. She has a lot of makeup on, almost like she's sort of an overdone makeup job, kind of. But she looks very classy. Her hair is done. She's got on this dress, this like red velvet dress that comes down to like right here, kind of her kind of flowy arms on it, and kind of a high collar that comes up like here and kind of comes down. Very severe features. She's got very sharp cheekbones, a very long chin, and she says, "Welcome to Wachter House."
And I'm nudging you to bow. I'm bowing. I'm giving her a bow. Thank you. Well, thank you for welcoming us into your home, Lady
Yes.
Fiona.
It's not often that we have strangers. Please sit.
Thank you for your hospitality. We appreciate
Gustav
it.
tells me that you have some fine rug.
Yes, Lady Fiona. My name is Enna Diamondew, and I'm a member of the Alchemist Guild. And we were told by Anya that you might be interested in this fine rug that we
Excuse me for a minute.
Yes.
Gustav, would you please get us tea? And he's like, "Yes, lady." And so he leaves. And she says, "Please sit." And she sits down in a high-back chair that's kind of off to the side of the hearth. And she kind of motions for you to sit down on the couches.
Thank you.
Tell me now, dear. Fantastic story of this rug of yours. Please, where are you from? You're definitely not from Vallaki.
We are recognized at once as not being from Vallaki,
Yes.
and that would be true. We're from a place called Waterdeep, and we found ourselves in this place, and we've been gathering goods to sell and trade, and this rug is one of them.
Yes, Waterdeep. And when did you arrive in Barovia?
Less than a few weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks we've been here.
Outsiders, yes. Very interesting. And what is your business in Vallaki? Merchants, are you?
Yes, we are.
And then she kind of looks over to you and you and says, "Adventures, I see."
A bit. We're looking for a way out of this place, like any other newcomers that's here. It's like our best bet at that is as traveling merchants and learning as much as we can about this place.
Oh, yes. And one thing you must learn right away is that there's no way to leave.
We're finding that's our answer to a lot of the places we've been to.
Yes. It's a fantastically strange place where we live. And alas, we are surrounded by the mists. I know of nobody that's ever been able to leave Barovia myself. But many have come through Barovia, and it's great to meet you. Tell me, aside from this rug, what other wares do you peddle in the streets of Barovia?
Right now, this is all we have. I have some I have an herbalism kit and know how to use it. So if there were a remedy that you felt that you needed me to put together, I might be able to do that for you as well.
Fantastic.
Myself, my trade is in fish. I am a fisherman myself.
Ah, yes. Have you been up to Zarovich Landing, a little fishing village on the south shore of Lake Zarovich?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yep, yes, we have. It's a beautiful place.
Quaint little town.
Yep. Quaint is a perfect word for that town.
Well, let's see this rug then, shall we?
Unrolled part of the rug on the empty part of the floor without having to move the couch.
Very interesting. Where did you say you got this then?
Well, this we actually acquired through a game of chance.
Chance. Mm-hmm. A bit of a fateful acquisition, would you say?
It was. It was a bit of a surprise. We weren't anticipating dealing in something quite this large, but it turned out to be so beautiful. We thought, somebody would really appreciate this. Somebody who has excellent taste.
Absolutely. Look at the unicorns. Delightful. Fun, yet classy. Tell me, what type of game of chance? I love to know the stories behind these things.
Well, it was a bit of a guessing game. We were in the Vistani camp, and
the Vistani.
yes, and they were very.
Madame Eva, have you met Madame Eva?
Actually, we have met Madame Eva.
Has she foretold your future?
Not exactly, but she definitely gave us some insight. Yes.
A prophecy, if you will.
A bit, yes.
Yes, I once spoke with Madame Eva myself and was given a prophecy.
Really?
Yes.
Is it something that you'd be willing to share? You seem really intrigued by
I am
this.
very excited to share it with you because I feel as though maybe you have a role to play.
Oh, tell us more.
When I was younger, much younger, of course, I made my way on a trip out to the east side of Barovia and met with Madame Eva. She brought out her cards and told my fortune, along with some of the others of my family. But one thing always stuck with me. She said that there would be, how shall I say, outsiders that would arrive someday in Vallaki. And those outsiders would have a role to play in freeing the land. Ushering in, if you will, a new age.
Wow.
And I'm always delighted to meet newcomers, especially adventurers, because I feel as though nobody arrives in Barovia by accident. There's always a reason.
Sounds like you have an adventurous heart.
Oh, yes.
So you are wishing for a new age?
Aren't we all? Look at Barovia. Look at Vallaki. Under the hand of this dreadful burgomaster. Please. These people are oppressed.
Are you wishing to want to be in charge of this place?
Oh my. I feel as though it would be only for the best. It would be quite an honor, and of course, a great responsibility, but anybody could do better than the Baron.
Yes, we've heard some stories of him as well.
Ruling with an iron fist, I suppose.
Have you known him his whole life?
Oh, my family has been in Barovia for centuries. And the Vallaki family has as well. Our families, I suppose, could be said to have not seen eye to eye on many matters of state. The burgomaster, the current burgomaster, of course, his father was much, much worse than he is, but he still is a terror and a tyrant. And yes, of course, I would like to see him.
We have not met him, so we don't know how old he is. Did you grow up together?
We are contemporaries, yes.
Okay.
His father, Vargon, ruled Vallaki like a police state. It's now slightly better. Maybe that might even be a little bit too optimistic. Of course, you've heard of Isaac Strahd.
Yeah, we have heard of him.
He is the iron fist of the burgomaster. When I was a girl, Vallaki was a police state with early curfews and strict rules of propaganda. Vallaki was a kind of town where people were blackbagged in the night for even talking about Strahd. Public hangings were quite regular, etc., etc. Today we have public humiliation, we have reformation of political dissidents. It's slightly less overt with Vargas than it was with his father Vargon. Yet, the people are unhappy. Even with his festivals and jamborees, he believes that these hold Strahd at bay.
What do you think?
I think they're folly, foolishness, propaganda, a way to keep the people's minds preoccupied. I disagree with it.
I understand.
I've never understood how such horrible governance could be accepted by the people.
Well, maybe they don't feel they have a choice.
Ah, that might be true. There will be a choice one day, though. As I said, the prophecy was foretold. Suggests that someday there would be a new age in Vallaki. Perhaps that new age is upon us.
Perhaps it would be phenomenal if we could be of assistance, but we can't move very quickly with this large rug. Are you interested?
In the rug.
Yes.
It doesn't really fit my decor, but let me ask you this. How much are you asking for it?
Well, we've been told it's worth 500 gold pieces. I'd be willing to take 200.
That seems very fair, given the exquisite craftsmanship that went into this unicorn motif. It's quite beautiful. 200, you say?
Yes.
You'll let me consider, of course, my... I'd like to figure out where in the house it would fit.
That's fair.
In the meantime, perhaps you could help me.
Perhaps. What do you have in mind?
The biggest roadblock to a new age, if you will, is that dreadful Isaac Strahd. Get rid of the strong man, the burgomaster would be easy to usurp.
What do you mean?
Look like your adventurers who are up to the challenge. Perhaps you would be willing to help me with this problem of Isaac Strahd.
I can't speak for the group.
Just consider it, as I consider payment of 500 gold for your rug.
You're willing to pay full price?
Perhaps.
If we were to do this favor, would it be a possibility to come by some silver as well?
Silver? For what purpose?
For our own. So, there's dark times here, and we've like to come by some silver for some stories.
Silver
about,
ore?
silver ore or weapons or anything of silver of the type. We used to use it to protect ourselves on our journey to.
Against werewolves and such. Indeed.
You understand.
The forests around Vallaki are dangerous. I can see how you might need a bit of extra help in that matter. Of course. I will see what I can do about the silver. And I will buy the rug if you, in turn, come through on this assistance. Dispose of Isaac Strasny and return here post haste, and I shall have what you seek.
Can you give us a moment, please?
Absolutely.
We're going to step into the vestibule.
Here, actually, she says, why don't you just step over here to the dining area? I'll be right back.
Okay.
And she goes in, she's like, you hear her say, Gustav, where's the tea?
Well, guys, what do you think? Is he worse than fish people and zombies?
We could see. Have we met this Isaac before? I'm trying to remember. I
No.
don't think so.
We haven't met him yet. We don't know what he's like. We just have heard bad things about him.
I don't know, this place is strange, and we're liable to raise a ruckus going around whacking the strong man.
Yeah.
If it's known that we were the ones who whacked him.
Yeah.
Well, everything else that we've gotten involved in has been a surprise upon us. This would be something that we would be the asserter.
I'd say I could follow him and find out who this Isaac is and see who he is. Meaning if he's a good or bad man, and we could look into it, or we could do exactly what she wants, and we'll have a powerful ally in this place.
Yeah,
Well, I think we-
But Lady Fiona, I think that she's a pretty stout Strahd follower. There's a chance she's a bad guy.
Well, it couldn't hurt to take a look first, and you certainly have the skills for it, Smitty. Maybe that is the answer. You kind of check him out and see what the story is, and then we can make our decision.
And if we do have a person such as, the devil that is plaguing this land, it might not hurt to have allies even on his side of
Fake bonus points. Some real bonus points. Yeah.
Well, and if he's the strong man of the Burgermaster, and we're able to best him, the Burgermaster may be a bit at our mercy. There might be some fear there.
Yeah, but the key is to not let anyone know that we are the ones who took him.
Maybe you do want people to know. That might flush a few people out of the woodwork.
Yeah, but it will be easy enough to put the blame on us, and then Fiona could say she has nothing to do with us too.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
Then we have no allies whatsoever.
Yep.
But if we have this,
Yeah. Yep, I see your point. Well, why don't we tell her that we'd like to do some recon first and then come back with our answer? That be fair?
I think so.
In the meantime, let's leave the rug here and stick it
Yeah.
around.
I was going to suggest that. That's a good idea.
The big question though too is if
You wanted the rug.
No, I wanted what I thought was in it.
if we're willing to make allies with Fiona, looking into him could go bad too, because if we find out he's a good person, we might not want to do.
Right.
So the question is, do we want Fiona as an ally?
Yes.
And if we do,
Well, I think we can put her off for a day. I think it would be fair to say that we were waiting for some things from Anya, and we really don't want to make a move until we've finished our dealings with her, and that'll take a day. That'll give you a chance to go look. And in the meantime, we can look for Irina, and you can do your stealth, and we'll see what we can. Whatever you find out can determine our next move. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Lady Fiona, thank you for waiting, letting us discuss this matter. It's clearly a very serious decision.
She comes in when you call to her, and following her is Gustav, and he sits down tea in front of each one of you.
Oh, thank you so much for this warm beverage on this misty, chilly day.
It smells like herbs.
Can I roll a perception check? I want to make sure it's okay to drink.
Yeah, you can roll a perception check.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, it smells like herbal tea.
Okay.
Yep.
Lady Fiona,
She drinks some. She's got some in front of her too, and she's sipping it.
did we see her pour it from the same vessel?
Gustav poured it from the same vessel.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We had a little conversation. We have some business that we need to attend to that won't be concluded until tomorrow, and it would be helpful if we can wait until tomorrow to make this decision to do as you are requesting of us. In the meantime, we will. You have my word of honor and our word of honor that we will not say a word about it to anybody.
Ah, very good. Honorable. I like that. I would say this. Make your decision as quickly as you can. Tomorrow is fine. But there is the Festival of the Blazing Sun in 3 days' time. It would behoove us to eliminate the strongman before that festival.
What the one question I do ask is why the strongman? Why not the burgomaster himself?
The burgomaster is weak. The strongman protects him. Without Isaac, the burgomaster will wither and fall. And the transition will be easy.
All right. Well, it seems that we have struck a deal, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow. Would you mind terribly if we can we store the rug here? The rooms that we've gotten are pretty small, and as you know, there aren't a lot of places we can choose from to stay.
Of course, of course.
Thank you.
Gustav, please. And he comes in and she says, roll the rug up and put it in the den for us, please. And he says, yes, ma'am. And he rolls up the rug and you see him kind of struggle with it. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's having a hard time with it. He's like kind of, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he kind of knocks over a lamp that falls. Luckily it
Then I
wasn't
go over and
lit
help
or
him.
anything.
Haul it up and get it on his shoulder and center it and set it down again and good luck.
Thank you, thank you. And he carries it off into the den. Very well then, I expect to see you sometime tomorrow afternoon then.
If there is something that unavoidably detains us, we'll send word.
Very well. Thank you so much for stopping. I look forward to our friendship.
Thank you for your hospitality and your kindness. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Gustav, show them out, please. And so he walks you back out to the front door and opens the door. All right. There you go. And you walk back out into the streets of Vallaki.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah,
What do you guys think?
I'm gonna try to go around and find this Isaac as quick as possible. See, ask around and go through. Trying to think of if we could go to the end and ask people what he looks like and go through. That way we could kind of track him down.
Oh, I should have asked her where he lived.
Yeah, maybe. Knock on the door. Just kidding.
The slot. Do you knock?
No.
All right.
I'm sure we can find out.
Yep, we just gotta be careful not to ask too many questions.
Right.
Because if we are asking about him and he goes missing 2 days later, it's
Yeah.
obviously suspicious.
Let's go drink.
Let's see if we can find Irina and have a cold beverage. And are you gonna head off on a separate direction, or are you gonna come with us, or?
Well, I think it's like I'll probably ask. I'll knock on the door one more time, and I'm pretty sure it's this assistant.
The slot opens up. Yeah.
This Isaac gentleman.
Yeah.
What could you tell me about him? What does he look like, and where is his home?
Yeah, he's a big brute of a fella. Very ugly. Bald-headed. Face looks skeleton-like. Lives with the burgomaster, of course.
Where?
Oh, tells you where the burgomaster's house is in general, kind of. And then he says, he's very, very violent, very strong, threatens people all the time. He essentially administers justice using fear and force. His right arm is deformed, disfigured, fiendish. It has barbed spines, scaly, elongated fingers and sharp nails. But the most important thing is that he has the power somehow to create fire with the snap of his fingers. And he has wielded that power to instill fear in the people.
When he creates fire, is it a small flame or a large engulfing situation?
He hurls the flame from his
Okay.
fist.
All right.
So be careful.
Thank you. That's very helpful, and we appreciate that, Gustav.
Anything else?
Is there any places he goes to be entertained?
Well, his entertainment is bullying. You could try the town square, I suppose, near the stocks. Perhaps the Blue Water Inn.
Is he a
It's hard to say.
Is he a drinking man at all?
Not much of a drinking man anymore. Or the Burgomaster's mansion where he lives. That might be another place to seek him out. Anything else?
That'll be it for me. You guys have any?
Do you have
No.
any weaknesses?
A bad leg or a...
Not
Bad-
that I'm
or
aware
a
of.
bad habit.
I would say his weakness is madness and violence. He's very dangerous. Tread lightly. And he actually, this Gustav actually has a distinct and honest look of concern in his eye when he says that.
All right.
Well,
Not gonna be easy, folks.
we could set a trap for him. If he is this violent, I don't even feel like it's a need to see if he's good or bad. We could send a letter saying that someone is starting to kill the burgomaster and have a place to meet.
Mm-hmm.
That could work.
And then have a meet at an out's place and let them know in the letter that we are trying to stay discreet. That way we are not attacked by this person that's planning to kill the burgomaster himself, and kind of draw him to a place of our choosing.
Do you want to observe him a while first before we send this letter? Do you think we should send the letter right off the bat?
We could go looking if you guys want to. I could kind of go see what he looks like and kind of take some notes on him. Or we could send this letter. It's depending on how quickly you want to.
Well, I trust your stealth. I think maybe if you're okay with this, if you'd be willing to at least kind of just get a look at him in action from afar, we can go look for Arena, or I can if Flinta is preferring to go get a drink, and we can meet back at the Blue Water Inn and craft a letter if we feel like that's the best next step.
I'm still not 100% on beating up on the bully.
Well, that's why we were going to look at him first.
Yeah.
Because I agree.
That
I mean, we don't
that
want to.
madam makes me a little nervous anyway.
Yeah, we don't know if she's any good either. So
Yes.
Well, if she makes you nervous, could you imagine having her as an ally? If you're just being nervous just from meeting her for the first time?
Yeah. I see the point.
Let's see what kind of frenemy she turns out to be. What do you think? What do you want to do?
I could scout him.
All right.
And silver's part of the deal. That's part of our plan too.
Yeah, thanks for thinking about that.
If we are going to go to this place, the Iron Temple, and if we're not ready for it, we're definitely going to need some better equipment and supplies.
Yeah.
And if we don't have any allies or any way to make money,
Yeah.
we're going to be here for a long, long time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe I should go with you and get an eye on Isaac.
I'm a little bit quicker if you want to go with Enna and just find out whatever you can about this place, and
All right.
I move quicker on my own and more silent on my own too.
Yeah, and you're pretty noticeable.
Okay. Well,
I mean, you don't have
we could
to-
do worse than going to the tavern and keeping our ears peeled and see what the chatter's like.
You know what? I'm usually better about sticking together, but if you want to go to the tavern and keep your ears open, you go find him to keep your eyes open. I might go shopping. See what I can find out just by way of gossip.
Make sure you are all discreet if you do talk to people, because it's a big flag if we're speaking about some person and they go missing.
Okay.
I'll keep it general. He is to get them talking and not be asking.
Yeah.
He's about to love us because we're all three going separate. He's like, all right.
Bastards. All right, so what's the plan?
I'm gonna I'm gonna start looking for Isaac.
Where are you going to look for him first?
First is town square.
Okay. Flinta, what's your plan?
I'm going to the tavern.
Okay.
Gonna keep my ears open and see what I can find out about our friend Isaac.
Okay. And Enna?
I'm gonna go to church.
Okay. Holy shit. All right. Let me write this down here just so I can keep track. Enna, church, Smitty.
Unless you can, can you give me the lay of the downtown area a little bit? Like what other establishments there may be?
Well, so you know where the blacksmith shop is, you know where the apothecary and the general store are. You know, you've been to the town square. Mm-hmm. Let me bring up the map here of town so I can have that in front of me. So you are just leaving the Wachter house.
We're heading towards the town square.
Yep, so you'll head back to the town square. At that point, the main road, there's one main road that goes east-west, the whole town. Didn't you guys have a map? Didn't somebody give you a map? I think Luvash or somebody. Here, is this it? He showed you where Ardenbost Holt was? Here, you guys keep this.
Okay.
So you can see, so up in the upper right-hand corner is Vallaki. Mm-hmm. The main road kind of goes east-west through that submarine-looking thing. I don't know why it looks like a sub, but anyhow, and that's roughly the shape of Vallaki. You're sort of up in that top area up there right now, not all the way to the gate, but about halfway from the main road. So you go back
where
down,
the nice houses are.
the nice end of town. Well, nice end, but if you remember the description I read of her house, what was the thing?
Elegant furnishings, yet old and shabby.
Yeah, I should have.
The house was
only
like
then
sad.
do you. When you walked up the house, only then do you realize the extent to which this house hates what it has become.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you go back to the town square, and then you would take a right and head west, and that would bring you past right to the inn. The inn is very close. The church you passed on the way, so the church is farther west than the inn.
Okay.
That's about all you know so far, really. You haven't gone east of the square yet, and you haven't gone south.
Can you tell us before, or I need to walk down the street and kind of observe?
You can ask somebody once. Yeah, you know, if you run into some people, you can
No,
try asking.
I'm just
Yeah.
wondering what kind of stores are along the main.
Yeah. Things that you may have noticed. In addition to the ones that I mentioned, there's a bookshop that you may have seen. You probably walked past the bookshop.
Okay.
And then a lot of it is residential.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But if there's something in particular that you're looking for, then,
Right.
you know, you can ask around.
Right.
Okay, so you make your way back down towards the town square. And at that point, Smitty, you kind of
Post up. Yep.
Okay. And Enna and Flinta head west on the road. Flinta heading to the tavern, and you're going to head towards the...
Hey, wait a minute, guys. Where are we going to meet up later?
We're all staying at the Breeze Inn or the...
The Breeze Inn.
Juicy Lucy's.
The Blue Water.
Blue Water.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the tavern is.
That's where you're staying, and there's a tavern.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
We
why
have a
don't
room already.
we'll
too,
we'll just meet up with you there.
Sounds good.
I want to go down. I saw that bookstore. I want to see that before I go to the church and just kind of see what I can find out.
Okay. All right, so we'll start with Smitty. Smitty, you get to the town square. There's people walking around. It's pretty busy. There, you remember that I mentioned that there's the large gallows in the center of the town square, and surrounding the gallows are these stocks with a variety of people in the stocks, hands and head chained, locked in the stocks, and on their heads are these plaster donkey heads. There's a couple of guards posted around the area. They look very similar to the guards that you were questioned by when you entered Vallaki at the western gate. What do you want to do?
The prisoners that are in the... What's it? Stocks?
Mm-hmm. Do you know what those are?
The
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Is there a way I could walk over and casually, like, lean against the wall or something and talk to him, or are the guards posted right next to him?
You can walk up to them. In
Right.
fact, you see other people walking right past them, and some people spit on them, and other people just walk by like they're not there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll casually, like, just kind of go up and light a pipe and just walk closely to one, kind of whisper.
Okay.
And I'll whisper to him, like, so what brings you to the stocks?
Are you joking? God damn it!
It's like, no. I was like, no, I'm new in town. I just figured you're just over here hanging out.
Which one are you talking to? You're talking. There's
one on the end or something like that.
Yeah, so there's 6 people, a couple of children, and 4 adults and 2 children. So the one on the end is you can tell it's a man based up by what he's wearing.
Right.
And he's like, "Who are you anyways? Why do you care about us?"
I'm just trying to make casual conversation for a man.
With a man in the stocks.
With the man in the stocks.
Well, if you must know, I skipped out on the Wolf's Head Jamboree, okay?
Skipped out. He's like, who wouldn't want to go hunting for wolves?
Ah, bullshit. We don't go hunting, we just celebrate the hunt. We're forced to. It's mind control. It's terrible. I refuse to go, and this is my punishment.
How long will you be in here?
Probably till tomorrow. I don't know. They don't tell me anything.
So whose call was it to put you in here? Was it Isaac himself or someone else's guard?
The city guard found me. There was a couple of us in the house. And what are you, a visitor? Or you're not from here?
Nope, just walking on by, just visiting.
Well, you picked an interesting place to visit. Anyways, I don't know if they told you when you entered Vallaki. Usually the guards are pretty good about this. If you don't go to the festival, you end up in the stocks. It's that simple.
So if you knew this, well, why did you choose to end up here anyways? You just like hanging out in the stocks with a bag over your
God,
head?
no.
Why didn't you participate then?
Because I think it's a waste of time. I don't believe in this joyous celebration. I don't think it does anything. It's false. It gives people false hope.
How long does this celebration last?
Just a couple hours, I guess.
A couple hours. How long are you in the stocks for?
I don't know.
So what was
They put me in here a couple days ago.
So what was a bigger waste of time?
Well, if I hadn't been caught, everything would have been fine. But I see your point. You know, there's some people in this town that don't necessarily agree with the burgomaster. Seems like maybe there's enough of them around to change things in town.
And what do you mean by that?
As you ask that question, one of the guards comes by and says, "Oi, move along now."
I'll puff out my pipe and like, oh, okay. It's like I'm done anyways here.
A couple kids come by, you see, as you're walking away, and they start throwing rocks at the guys with the plaster donkey heads. Just like whipping, I don't know, fist-sized rocks at them. And the guards are laughing.
I'll look at the guards and see, do any of them have like a deformed hand or anything, or arm? I mean.
Roll a perception check.
Natural 1.
Even with that, you can tell that none of them have deformed hands. Although right when you're about to look for that, like a fly goes into your eye, and you're like, takes you a minute to get the fly out of your eye.
Awesome.
Natural 1.
All right, so now we'll break there for a
I'll
second.
just-
We'll go to you. So you kind of wave to Enna as she keeps
Yep.
going down the road, and you head into the Blue Water Inn.
In the Blue Water Inn, I can't see the square from the Blue Water Inn, or can I?
Let's see here. If you're standing out in front of it, you can.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's about a block. It's about a block away.
Okay.
So if you're standing like out in the road in front of the Blue Water Inn, you can see the town square. But the town square, it's like the road comes down, and then the town square kind of opens up, so you can't see the whole town square, but you can see into the town square.
Okay. I go into the tavern and look around to assess the scene.
Okay. You walk in, and there are a bunch of people. There's about 10 different people hanging out, eating. It's midday now, so they're serving food. You can smell the steaks cooking, and it's pretty jovial inside of the tavern.
Mm-hmm.
People are drinking. They're drinking some ale. They're drinking wine.
I want to use insight to try and pick a group or an individual, somebody to talk to about finding out more about Isaac.
Okay, sure. So you roll. Go ahead. Actually, it would be. What exactly are you looking for? Let me ask you that.
I'm looking to kind of feel out who would be.
Who would it might have information?
Would have information. I'm gonna go somewhere to
Yeah.
get a drink, and I would like to roll up to a logical person next to a logical person, like make some small check.
All right.
with
Yeah.
them.
Roll insight.
I got 12.
Okay. So there's a couple of different options. You see Danica at the tending bar. She's serving. She's pouring ale and bringing out steaks to some of the patrons. So obviously she might be a source of information. You also see another fellow that you may or may not remember from earlier, but he is kind of holding court. He's playing a little bit of music. Kind of looks like a bard. People are kind of listening to him, and he's sort of telling stories. Colorfully dressed. He looks to be kind of similar looking to Enna in the sense that he's looks elven or half elven.
Playing music now, or is he?
Right now he just stopped. Now he's kind of talking to this group of people, and they're laughing and listening to him talk. And then he'll play a few. He plays a few little ditties on his lute, and then he kind of starts talking again. So he's not like jamming out playing a show, but he's definitely holding court. So there's those two. There are two other fellas sitting at a table. They look pretty drunk for midday. and they're just sort of sitting there talking really quietly. And then the rest of them are sort of nondescript, that they don't look particularly interesting.
Right, I think I will go to the bar and try to stand next to a working class person and
Just random person.
and order a ale.
Okay.
From the bartender.
Okay, so you belly up and Danica says, welcome back.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Can we
I
have
hope
an
you've
ale,
had a
please?
good day. Absolutely. That'll be 1 silver, please.
All right, pay for that.
Okay. And she brings back a flagon of ale for you. She's like, how's your day been so far? And she's kind of working, but she's also listening. She's kind of taking empty mugs and wine goblets off the table and putting them in a basin and wiping off the table. And
It's going good. Sure is eerie with the folks in the stocks in the square.
yes. That's I guess that's the local law enforcement, if you will.
Yeah, it's just kind of odd. I'm not used to seeing folks in stocks. And what do they generally do to get in there?
Oh boy, all kinds of things, but trivial. Theft. Perhaps they didn't attend. They were caught skipping out on the festival last week. That's pretty important to the burgomaster that everybody attends. In fact, it's expected that everybody will attend. Sometimes people, for whatever reason, opt to avoid the festivals, and sometimes they're caught.
Who puts them in there?
Oh, the town guard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wouldn't imagine he's real well liked around the town.
Well, the town guard keep us safe, I guess you could say. But no, they're ruthless. I mean, look at what they're doing. They're forcing people to go to these events. It's led by Isaac Strahd, of course, and he's a terrible person. Not well liked around town. But he runs the town guard, and he's the justice for the burgomaster. So we keep our noses down and do our thing, and
Yeah, I was just walking by and was alarmed by folks in the stocks.
well, you just watch your P's and Q's, and you shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Well, thanks for the ale.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll switch over to Enna. Enna, you are heading to the bookshop. So let's see, roll a history check for
And
me.
thanks for the ale.
Yeah, no problem. Should have bought more.
I can't read this. That's great. 7.
Okay, so you're walking down the street, you're kind of looking and you're having a hard time finding the bookshop. You can't quite remember where you saw it. You remember seeing it, but you don't remember where. It takes a little while, but finally you stumble back across it. And it's right on the main drag, because you walked right past it on your way to the Blue Water Inn. You passed, you remember seeing it before the Third Eye Potions and Sundries, so it's farther west than that. But not as far west as the Dusklight Supply Shop, the general store. So before you look up at this little hole in the wall that looks like a very small building that's kind of tucked between two sort of larger buildings. There's a kind of a wrought iron fence around it with a path leading up to the front door. The door's open. Above the door is a plaque, and on the plaque it just has a really painted and kind of flaking paint image of books. And then below that it says Yanovich and Sons.
I'm gonna go inside.
Okay, so you walk inside, and you see 3 young 12 to 14-year-old boys who are arranging books, cataloging books, dusting. They're just kind of tidying the place up. It's really, when you walk in, it's actually very well kept. Everything's very orderly. It's clean. It looks like it was probably swept out this morning. There's as much sunlight as you could expect for Barovia coming in to sort of give it a sort of a welcoming vibe. The books are pretty stacked in there, and there's bookshelves that come up to about eye level. You can just kind of, if you kind of tiptoe, you can see over the bookshelves. And it's not a very high ceiling. It's kind of a small, kind of a squat little building.
How many feet back?
It goes about 20 feet back, and then towards the back of the room there is a table, which is usually where you would expect to do, like, buy books and things like that. There's an old man sitting there with spectacles on, balding on top, white tufts of hair around the sides, and he's paging through a book.
Okay. Good day.
Hello there. Welcome to our bookshop. Anything I can help you find?
Oh, just some peace of mind. My traveling companions are not they're not apt to look into a book for entertainment as I am, so I thought I'd just come and see what you had here in the store.
Yes, well, feel free to browse, and if there's anything that we can help you find, please let us know. We also have writing supplies, paper, calligraphy tools, empty journals, etc. Let us know.
You know, one thing I noticed is throughout the town, all of the signs.
Yes.
All of
you
the
see a big smile on his face.
Yeah, all of the signs are pictographic. They
Yes.
depict what's in the building, as opposed to having a name or saying bookstore or apothecary, so on. Is there a literacy issue in this town?
Well, let's put it this way: we don't sell many books.
Well, I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. I'm just gonna kind of look around a little bit. You don't happen to have anything? I'm new to this area. Do you have any books on the history of Barovia or Vallaki?
Oh no, we don't have anything like that.
Oh, that's all right.
That's considered a bit. And he looks around, he's like, a bit contraband around here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
No, that's
that wasn't
fine.
my
You
intent
look
at all.
Like perhaps you're visiting.
I am. We're just my friends and I are merchants, and we just happened our way through town, and I like to find out about the places we're traveling. So I don't want to get you in any trouble. So I'll just stop talking about that right now.
Well, let me see what we have. Give me a couple minutes and I'll see what I can dig up.
Fair enough.
So you browse around the room and you see all kinds of different books. And there's all kinds of really strange books that are not of much interest to you. A lot of novels, a lot of stories, fairy tale type children's books. Everything looks brand new. Like they look really, really well done. And if you open any of them, you'll see that they're actually they're printed. Mm-hmm. You also notice as you're looking around the bookshop that there's stacks of posters. And the posters are for the Blazing Sun Festival. And one of the young boys, presumably one of his sons, because they look very much like him, except for the baldness and that sort of thing. They look like younger versions. One of them comes out with another stack and sets it down. It's a stack about that big of these posters.
Okay.
And he sets them by the door.
Okay. This bookstore. Are you Mr. Yanovich?
Yes, indeed.
And these are your sons.
These are my boys.
Okay, so
Yande, Sven, and Yenva.
Excellent, thank you. Hey, when we were in the Vistani camp, they were talking about some
Vistani camp.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yes, we happened upon one of their children that was lost.
Oh.
And it's neither here nor there. The thing is they
Sounds like a wonderful story to tell.
well.
Perhaps you'd like to chronicle your stories. We have all kinds of writing supplies, paper, calligraphy pens.
And I may do that, but what intrigued me was they were talking about somebody that we had never heard about, Dr. Rudolf van Richten.
Oh, yes.
And as a monster hunter, and I have never heard this lore before. Do you have any of his books or any stories
his
about
books are
him?
very hard to find, very, very pricey.
But do you have any? We are merchants.
Ah. Well, what do you know of Victor or Rudolph?
Nothing.
Whatever his name is.
That's why I'm asking. His story intrigues me, and I would like to know more about him. And the way we were told is that he was sort of almost mythical.
Yes.
And nobody really has ever met him or anything. That
he's a
it
legend.
Might be a Mother Goose type character, not necessarily real, but even if that's the case, if you have any of his storybooks, I'd still be intrigued in seeing them.
Yes, indeed. He's a bit of a legend, a monster hunter of renown who has traveled the realms, destroying all kinds of bad, evil creatures. Let's see here. Sven. And Sven comes over. Yes, Father. Could you please dig up some of the books we might have on Dr. Rudolf von Richten? And Sven gets all excited, like, oh, yeah. And he goes off and he's rummaging through and looking for books. It takes him a little while. But he comes back and he's got 3 books. And they all seem to be like stories as you page through each one just a little bit to look at them. They're told in a narrative sense, so they're kind of like novels, and each one is of a different sort of, like, one is the Great Vampire Hunt, and one of them, it looks like it's a story about a mummy that he was tracking down in some strange desert, and then the other one is a story of like a werewolf den that he was able to destroy. So they're like chronicles, but they're written in a narrative sense.
Okay.
So they're not like journals or anything, but they're
How big are the books? Like how heavy, how thick?
they're pretty thick.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Any of these catch your fancy?
Oh, these are wonderful. They're beautifully bound. Did you print these yourself?
Yes, we did.
I
On the
noticed.
printing press in the back.
I noticed that you had a printing press because I noticed your son bringing out some posters.
Ah, yes, the posters. Yes, indeed.
So you print posters. What else do you print in the town?
Mostly copying and transcribing journals, books, of course, and but quite honestly, most of that has sort of fallen by the wayside. And nowadays, we mostly print posters. The Burgomaster.
Just because I'm nosy, what is the most interesting thing that you have printed in the last year?
Very curious question. The most interesting thing that I've printed in the last year. It's hard for me to even remember what I printed last week, to be quite honest with you.
That's fair.
I would say that we have, well, I find them to be quite fancy, but stories of adventures. Far off lands, as you may or may not know, we don't leave Vallaki very often, and stories from outside the Valley of Barovia are what bring me hope.
That's interesting.
Every once in a while, we're able to come across books from outside the mists, usually brought into town by merchants or the Vistani visitors. That's probably the most interesting. He's like, let me see here, and he goes over and he says, well, this is the one I'm reading right now, and it looked like it's some story about pirates.
Okay.
Probably on the Sword Coast. You see, he opens it, he's like, there's even a map, and he shows you a map, and it looks like Waterdeep in like the area that you're actually from.
Wow, this is interesting. Where did you acquire this book?
This story came from about a year ago, and it came from it was in a pile of sundries and rubbish that we were able to pick through. And,
Oh, it wasn't a person who brought it in.
well, it came in on a cart. Yes, Vistani brought it in.
Oh, Vistani brought it in.
Yes. Every
Interesting.
once in a while, they'll bring in a cartload of interesting wares.
Would this be the Vistani right outside of...
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the Vistani myself personally.
Oh, so you don't know which Vistani camp this may have come from. The reason I say this is that this depicts the area where I'm originally from.
Oh my! What a coincidence!
Yeah.
Very cool.
And there has been nobody that we've come across in our travels that has been, knew of where we come and or any of that. So this is the first interaction I've had with somebody who has at least has some brush with where we're from.
Well, it's all right here in this book.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Seems glorious. I'd like to travel there one day. Of course, I know that that's likely impossible, especially at my old age, but also with the way things are around here.
So these books by the doctor,
Yes.
what are you asking for them?
Oh my. These are rare books. Let me think about this for a minute. Well, I would be willing to part... Do you want to buy all of them, or just a single book?
Oh, how much are they each?
I would sell them to you for 3 gold.
Each?
All of them.
All of them for 3 gold. That seems a bit high.
They're the only books like them of their kind that I'm aware of.
If you threw in that book that you're reading, you've got yourself a deal.
Very curious. Roll a persuasion check.
10.
I'm not done reading this one yet. Why don't you come back in a couple of days after I've read the book, and I'll consider selling it to you for an additional gold.
Yeah, I don't want it that badly. I live there, so it's not that big of a deal to me. It was just more of a curiosity thing.
The Van Richten books, then?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems pretty high. I mean, if literacy is at the level that you say, I can't imagine you're seeing a lot of business here.
No. Not many people buy books these days, I'm afraid.
I'd be willing to give you 2 gold.
He says, I'll tell you what. Give me time. I need about a week, and I will reproduce these books so that I have a copy. And then, yes, you have a deal.
Yeah, I really want something.
I would hate to part with these books to never have them again. I'm a
I-
bit of a collector, you see.
I understand, but I also came in here for something to read. I traveled light, you see. I didn't bring any books with me. And I really need something to stimulate my mind, because my traveling companions are not very stimulating in that way. So,
We have many books here that are of less value than these 3.
I know, but
These are about Dr. Rudolf von Richten.
I understand.
My boys would be terrified if I were to part with them.
How about this? How about I give you 1 gold and take 1 copy with me while you reproduce the other 2, and then I'll come back and swap. And I will pay you the rest when everything's been reproduced. I just need something to read tonight. You're a lover of books. Please let me have something to read myself to bed.
So let me get this straight. You're going to give me 1 gold. You're going to take one of these books with you.
Yes, and then...
And upon your return, after I've had time to reprint these 2...
Those 2, I'll give you the other 2 gold.
It's a very confusing deal, but I understand your desire to have something to read.
I know you do. I can understand.
Which one would you like?
I would love the vampire story.
Ah, yes. It's a very good one. I've read it twice.
Excellent. So you have that committed to memory? That's a perfect one for me to take.
All right, 1 gold.
All right. 1 gold it is.
And you have a book. We'll figure out what the title of it is. I'll come up with a fancy title.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. You've made my whole evening complete, sir. I really appreciate it. And I'll be here in about a week to collect the other 2.
Very good. What a pleasure to meet you. And what was your name?
My name is Enna.
Enna, pleasure to meet you. Staying at the Blue Water Inn, I imagine.
Yeah, is there anywhere else?
No.
Thank you so very much.
Good day.
Good day.
And you walk out.
And
All
I
right,
walk out.
we'll go back to Smitty. Smitty, what are you doing now?
How long have I been in the town square? Or like how long has...
Your conversation was a couple minutes, and then, I don't know, what'd you do after that?
Just hanging out on the stand? Just
So it's
kinda
been like 20 minutes probably, half hour.
Still no sight of him?
No.
I'm going to just start walking around town and go looking for him.
Okay.
So
Which way do you want to go?
I will go looking for the Burgomaster's mansion, I guess. So I'll go to the more wealthier part of town.
Gustav told you about where it was. It's actually to the south of town.
Alright, and we haven't been there.
You haven't been to the south of town yet.
I'll start going to the south of town.
Okay. Great. So you start heading south. Flinta, what do you got?
Moving from the bar, looking around to talk to folks. I'm gonna save the bard dude, and I'll engage the 2 fellas sitting at the table. Good day, guys.
How you doing? You bring us another drink then?
I got one for me. Mind if I sit and join you?
Yeah, be our guest.
Sit down and
So, what do you want? Nobody just sits down and talks to us unless they want something.
The stocks.
You want the stocks?
No, what do you guys make of the stocks? It's kind of creepy. Locking folks up. What's with the donkey heads?
Just some cruel punishment, I suppose. I don't know. Burgomaster and whatnot.
You ever been in there?
No. Burgomaster wouldn't put us in there.
You're immune from the stocks?
Well, we don't get into trouble.
Yeah.
At least not that kind of trouble. Those people are trying to stand up against the inevitable. We'd rather drink. You can't be putting the stocks for getting pissed.
That's good. Cheers to that.
Oi!
Oi! Monster Hunter. You ever heard of him? Hear of him?
Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of wolf hunters around here. They go out all the time, hunt wolves. That's where all these tasty steaks come from.
Yeah. Never any monster hunters though. Von Richten.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah.
That's just a fairy tale.
Never seen him?
No. If he even exists, I'm sure he's long dead. All those fanciful stories and whatnot.
Yeah. If I was to try to find him, where do you suppose I would look? Any idea?
Probably the bookshop.
Yeah.
What else you want? It seems like you got something on your mind.
What's coming up for the festival? I'm new in town, haven't been to one before.
Blazing Sun, they're gonna burn a big wicker effigy.
Yeah.
Think that it protects the town from the devil.
Is it a drinking occasion?
Oh yeah, we'll be pissed. We're
Yeah.
drinking all the time.
Yeah.
Nothing better to do around here anyways.
Is this where you normally rally? Go from the pub over to the festival?
I suppose so. Not too big on the festival, but we'll head on over there just to check it out.
Yeah.
Pretty much expected that everybody in town goes. Hence the stocks for folks who opt out, I should say.
Is that when they change over folks in the stocks? Is around festival time?
I don't know. Depends how they feel, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sometimes they cut them loose quick. Sometimes they keep them in there. Sometimes that's where they die. I don't know. Not very consistent. You don't want to be in the stocks.
Yes.
As you're
I like the burps.
as you're chatting with these guys, the minstrel kind of pipes up again, and he starts playing music over in the corner with another group of people. Kind of tuning his lute a little bit.
I'm thinking about what else I want to know from these guys. Keep my ears open. Other conversations going on. I'm being careful that I don't want to say too much.
Okay.
I'm interested to talk to the minstrel. I want to find the right time. Is there
Okay.
anybody else in there that's interesting to talk to? It sounded like there was a couple of scattered people, these guys at the table. the
Scattered
minstrel.
people, the bartenders, and this minstrel guy. And he's playing for a while, you're drinking, and the two fellas that are sitting with you are like, "What's your name, friend?" Oh yeah, you guys have aliases.
Oh, I haven't been using it. Oh crap.
Yeah, you've been using your real name.
Crap. Isn't it Mike, Zach, and
Zach, yeah. That's what
Mike, Zach, and I can't remember mine. Doesn't matter. I've already blown my cover.
it's like Victoria or something?
Not much for
Crap.
spycraft.
Well, I
More of a
have.
druid craft.
I've got my letter of introduction from the guild, so I couldn't exactly with, you know, if she wanted to look at that letter, I couldn't give her a different name anyway.
My name is Zach.
Hey Zach,
Good to meet you.
good to know you. Good to know you. Let's get another round. Yeah, let's get another round. The other guy is pretty quiet, but he gets pretty excited when he talks about his own. Let's get it. You get up and
Yeah, get up and move along.
as you turn around to sort of move along, you bump into the minstrel.
Oh, well, hi, pardon me.
Stranger.
Thanks for the music.
Yeah. Been asking a lot of questions. You don't want to talk to those guys.
Yeah.
Come on over here. Let's have a drink.
No, I'd love to.
So he brings you over to sort of a quiet corner near the fire, and he says, "Adventure.
At times.
Where do you hail from?"
Well, I found myself in this realm and curious about it and having a hard time finding the exit of this realm.
Ah, yes, very perplexing.
Yes.
And he kind of kicks back and puts his colorful. He's dressed very colorfully,
Yeah.
and puts his shoes up on the table and he yells over, "Danica, a round of drinks for myself and my friend." He kind of looks at you like,
Zach.
"My friend Zach." "Yeah, Zach. I found a similar predicament. Can't seem to find my way out of this hellhole.
How long have you been here?
Couple of years."
Okay. I haven't been here that long, but it's feeling like more and more all the time.
"Yes. Where did you come from then?"
Came from the north.
"From the north. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Tell me, friend, how were you sucked into Barovia?"
Yeah, it was the fog.
"Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what, there ain't no way out."
You've been looking?
"You bet. Think I want to stick around this place? These people don't pay shit for the music I play." Although, let's be honest, I play for shit.
You ever thought of introducing a companion? Ever thought about adding another act?
What did you have in mind?
I have a mean breakdance.
Ah, you're a performer. Well then, indeed. I would love to collaborate. Are you limber and ready to go?
I am ready to go.
Oh my. And he jumps up. And he starts kind of doing. And then he starts playing.
Yeah.
And you're up, buddy.
And it is a breakdance straight out of the 80s.
So you're like dropping on the floor and
Nothing real
doing the
fast,
worm.
just a couple spins and a couple worms and back on up.
people are kind of taking notice of you. Roll a performance check for me.
Can we make it an acrobatics?
Performance.
Okay. Now wait. It's seeming like it's really working and really going well.
What would you roll?
8.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're having fun and you're doing the worm,
Yeah.
and then you're like doing the what do they call it? The moonwalk and stuff. And you're doing this thing and you're doing the robot and whatnot. And people are like, "Hey, hey!" Some burping, some laughter. People are really getting into it. The music kicks up. Now doing acrobatics because you're gonna do a big old
A flourish.
the flourish.
All right, now we're 21.
What's your flourish? What do you do to end it?
Do a flip.
Yeah, it's got to be 2 cartwheels to a flip.
Wow. Okay, so you basically cartwheel across the bar, the tavern, and do a front flip,
Yeah.
and then land and,
And then-
do one of these. And everybody's just like, yeah! And there's like, wine is flying everywhere, and people are just loving it, having a great time, and the music stops, and yeah, people are just, they loved it. And someone comes over and was, great dance, mate, and hands you a goblet of wine. And people are coming over and like patting you on the back, and they love it. They're super jazzed. So
So yeah.
people are
And then
really
I-
happy.
And then I come back and sit down at the hearth again, and
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
that was fun. Thank you very much.
Tell me your name one more time.
I'm Zach.
Zach, that was wonderful. Where did you learn such great moves?
It's been in the travels.
So are you a performer in your previous life?
I have a bit of showman.
I can see that. Very nice. And pardon me for asking, but of Dwarven descent.
Of Dwarven descent.
Although very tall. Very, very interesting. Not to be crass, but that seems fairly odd. Is your family of a similar stature?
Well, I'm a mountain dwarf, and we grow taller, and I have good genes in my background, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Mountain dwarf with good genes. Yes, yes, yes. And your family hails from a prestigious clan, I imagine.
It's, we've been apart, and I would rather not talk about my family.
Indeed. I've gone too far. I apologize. I'm just very curious. You see, I like to chronicle some of these things in my travels. I've seen all sorts of strange things. I've never seen a dwarf as tall as you, so pardon my interest in your heritage.
Okay.
Yeah, so tell me, where are you staying here at the inn?
Staying here at the end.
Myself, indeed, yes. I am too. This is pretty much where I always stay.
Yeah.
I've been staying here for a while, and they let me stay for free if I play music and get the townsfolk riled up to buy ales and wine. Seems to work pretty well. What are your plans while you're in town? Are you staying long?
Well, my companion that I was traveling with is very interested in a monster hunter, Van Richten.
Ah.
Cross paths? You ever hear any
I've
stories
heard
of
many,
him?
many stories of Van Richten. Indeed.
Anything you'd like to share? I'm curious
Well-
about him, and I'm curious to know, is he still alive even?
Oh my. I think not. The stories of Van Richten go far back,
Long
of
ways
course.
back.
Yeah. I've heard the oral history as an entertainer, of course.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stories are told around the campfire. Some of the troops that I've performed with and traveled with in the past have had great tales of meeting Van Richten. Of
That's
course, I don't.
Part of why I'm interested in him is the entertaining aspect.
Ah, yes. Those stories always were a hit at the villages we'd visit. Of course, stories of defeating monsters are always big, especially with the children. But I have not met the man. I have never met anybody who could prove that they'd actually met him. Although some of my colorful colleagues had implied that they had met Van Richten. What's your curiosity, just as a story to tell, or?
I don't know, we were just chatting about him. I've heard about him in my travels, and I'm interested just from the lore side of it. The stories.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could certainly use him here in Barovia if he was still around, of course.
Yes.
We have our own set of problems here, which I'm sure you're well aware of.
Yes. There are interesting politics in town. The burgomaster seems like a unique character.
Oh, yeah, your best bet is to steer clear of the burgomaster and his police, I suppose. But it's not that bad as long as you keep your nose down.
Mm-hmm. And I would imagine he'll be out front and center at the festival.
Ah, yes, indeed, always. He never, let's say he's a bit of a performer as well, and he never wastes an opportunity to utilize his powers of persuasion or lack thereof with the people, of course.
Okay. You have any role in the festival? Is there any music involved? Do you have?
No, I haven't been asked to play, and I don't care to.
Okay.
But I, just like anybody else in town, when I'm in town, I'll attend. I don't want to get into trouble. Just keep my nose down, play my music, and drink my wine.
Is there anybody else that's involved in the setup or the behind-the-scenes action? Is there any work to be had with the crew setting up for the festival?
Ah, I'm sure if you inquired with the burgomaster, yes, it's quite a production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it all him and his police force that's set up for it, or?
Oh no, many of the townsfolk assist. There's a committee, of course, planning committee, and many volunteers. Of course, it's very looked upon positively if you volunteer to assist. There's potentially some paid positions, I suppose, if you were to inquire. I know with the Wolf's Head Jamboree, they paid a bounty for the wolves that were brought in by the wolf hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, then they chopped the heads off of the wolves and paraded them around town.
Yeah.
Some of the children even persuaded to wear the heads around town. Very strange.
Well, if I was interested in getting a position with the volunteer committee, who would I talk to? Do you know who the go-to person is?
I don't, other than saying that you'd probably want to inquire with the burgomaster himself.
Okay. And then to go wolf hunting, is that the burgomaster in charge of that as well?
Oh, there are many people who make a living by hunting the wolves. Some of them are often paid by the burgomaster, but as for example the Wolf's Head Jamboree. However, wolf meat is utilized quite extensively as the main protein here, so you can oftentimes sell the meat in the marketplace in the town square or here to Danica. They serve a very delicious wolf steak. She and her husband are very good with what they do here.
What do you think about eating wolf meat? Sit all right with you? In your belly?
I have no problems with it. Eat it all the time. Yep.
Cheers. Look around the bar a little bit and see what's going on. So what's the burgomaster's partner like?
Partner? You must mean his henchman?
Yeah. How is that organized? How is I don't understand how it works from not going to the festival to getting into stocks.
Oh. Well, if you fail to attend the festival and you're caught delinquent, then likely you'll end up in the stocks, I suppose. Mm-hmm. They do send a small contingent of the town guard around to the homes to make sure that everybody's in attendance.
So they just go through the people's houses when they're gone?
That's how it works around here. It's not a perfect system, but the burgomaster seems to think that it keeps the devil from descending upon the village. I believe it's only a matter of time, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Being this close to Castle Ravenloft and all. So while you're kind of thinking about what you want to do next, where are we going next? Enna, where you left the bookstore, where do you want to go?
And seeing that most everything at that end is the residential, I'm going to head towards the church.
Okay.
And I see the shenanigans going on in the bar, and I decide not to, I don't want to.
So did you go back to the bar?
No, I'm going past the bar to the church, right? So I'm going past the bar, and I see Flinta
Like a huge dance.
doing the dance party, and I don't want to harsh his buzz, and so I'm just gonna keep on walking and see what's going on with this church.
Okay. You guys are definitely keeping me on my toes here.
Do we need to break?
We could, yeah. Let's take a quick break.
I'm about to do a huge curveball too.
All right, that's fine. Let's do a quick break so I can get my notes together, and I want to open another beer. All right, let's get started. Okay, so Enna, you're walking down the crowded streets. It is now mid-afternoon.
Okay.
As you make it down to the church, which you passed on your way in earlier in the morning. So you've only been here for, I don't know, like most of the day, but it was just this morning when you arrived in Vallaki. The slouching, centuries-old stone church has a bulging steeple in the back and walls lined with cracked, stained glass windows depicting pious saints. A fence of wrought iron encloses the garden of gravestones next to the church. A thin mist creeps among the graves. And there's a pathway that leads up through the wrought iron fence and into the front entrance of the church, which is currently closed.
The church is closed, or the door is closed?
The door is closed.
Okay, and am I walking through the gravestones to get to the front
No,
of the church?
you're walking past them. They're on your right.
They're kind of off to the side.
Yeah, they're off to the side.
All right. Is the door unlocked?
You go up and try the door. It is unlocked.
Okay, I'm gonna go in.
Okay, you open the doors into a pretty modest church. There's sort of a long hallway area with a couple of doors on each side of the hallway. It's about 20 feet in, and then you've got the main opening of the church with the pews. There's 3 rows of pews on either side with an aisle going down the middle up to a small stone altar. Sitting in one of the pews kneeling actually, is a priest. And moving around the edges of the room with a broom, sweeping and tidying up, is a young boy.
Okay. I'm just gonna go in. I'm gonna go in and kind of look around and sit. I'm gonna sit down in the pew. One of the pews.
Okay, so you sit down in the pew, and you can roll a perception check for me.
23.
Oh wow! So you can hear the priest. You can tell that he's praying to the Morning Lord based not only on what he's saying and the fact that he's mentioned the Morning Lord, but also you can see some iconography around the church that indicates that this is a church of the Morning Lord. The young boy is very fastidious. He's moving through the pews, sweeping. He kind of catches your attention and smiles, and then continues working.
I'm just giving him a little wave.
The priest gets up and walks up the altar and starts tidying some things up, as if he's done praying and he's sort of getting ready for something.
Excuse me, Father.
Yes,
Is it all right if I'm in here?
of course.
Okay.
The Church of the Morning Lord is open to all.
Thank you. I'm not familiar with this particular religion, but I really needed a place of peace and quiet to quiet my mind, if that's all right.
Absolutely. It's important, more important than ever in this world, to have a place of light and hope. And that's what we hope to provide here. You're welcome. Please, stay as long as you'd like.
Could you explain something to me, Father?
Yes.
What I said I'm not familiar with this particular religion. Can you explain your theology?
Yes, we worship the Morning Lord Lathander and the light that he brings to the world. Of course, you know as well as anyone else in Barovia that currently the light is overshadowed, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
We hope that by our prayers and our good deeds that Lathander will return to Barovia and bring with him the light, and hopefully, by the graces of his goodwill, vanquish the darkness that has controlled this land for generations.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but is Lathander a deity figure or a physical, actual physical human
Lathander is
person?
a god.
A god.
Yes.
Okay, so a deity that. Okay.
And do you have a religion or creed that you follow?
I'm a druid, sir. So my religion is of the land. And all that grows and all that is, particularly in the grasslands.
Very nice. Well,
so the sunlight is important to me as well.
Yes, I was about to say, this land is in need of a bit of light and cleansing, perhaps.
Well, I don't know if I'm exactly the person for that job, but a place like this would be a place of solace for me as well as those who worship the Morning Lord directly.
As you're talking, you hear the door behind you open, and some people come in, and they sit down at the pews, and it looks like they're praying as you're talking with the priest. Where have you come from?
I am a merchant, and traveling with some friends, and we found ourselves in this land. I'm from a place called Waterdeep.
And you found yourself in Barovia.
Yes.
Well, you're welcome here. This church, as best we can, is a place of safety and light. We do what we can to protect our flock from the darkness that seems to encroach from all sides.
So, in the tradition of religions in Waterdeep, is this a place of asylum? If a person came here, would there be are there protections beyond just physical walls?
Well, you're standing in the Church of St. Andrew. The church indeed is a holy place, a place that provides or provided some protection, some divine protection. Not to bore you with theology, but Andril was a young acolyte of the Morning Lord who lived during the time when the devil first descended into this land and became the evil that he is. At that time, the church wasn't actually a church, it was the home of Andril. When the darkness overtook the devil and created what he is now, some of his guards tried to kill him. Later fled and were housed by Andril. Now, they were protected here in this very house.
The guards were?
The guards were protected here. Despite an onslaught of the devil's henchmen and the devil himself, who tried to destroy the guards and Andril, they miraculously withstood these assaults. Andril declared by the power of the Morning Lord that as long as he remained in this home, people would be safe from the evils of the devil. In doing so, the land upon which this church now stands became hallowed ground. As the house aged, of course, it was eventually torn down, and acolytes of St. Andril erected this church in its place. St. Andrew's bones were housed here and provided the protection. And as he says that, he starts to get choked up a little bit, and he says, I fear that the protection granted by St. Andrew are withering. And he kind of gets quiet.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to upset you, Father. Why would you say this? I mean,
For years, I have worked and prayed and led in this place and always felt a sense of peace. Despite the darkness encroaching from all sides, be it political, be it demonic. I don't suppose there's any reason to keep this from anyone, but I haven't told anybody. The bones of St. Andrew have gone missing. And if they are indeed missing or destroyed, this church provides no sanctuary.
when did you notice they're missing?
2 days.
I have an odd question to ask. I said I was traveling with some merchant friends of mine. We parted ways with a young woman that we were traveling with a few days ago. Have you run into a young woman by the name of Irina?
I'm afraid I have not.
She might be have a small child accompanying her.
I haven't met anyone by that name.
How about description?
Yes, what does she look like?
What does she look like?
Blue scarf.
You would remember. You'd be able to describe her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's wearing one of the things she notably wears is a red scarf around her neck.
So you describe to your best of your ability Irina and probably Myrtle and Freak, the two children as well. He it doesn't seem to ring a bell with the priest.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know. We were supposed to meet her here. That's why we came specifically to Vallaki. And we haven't been able to locate her or anybody who seemed to have seen her.
When was the last time you saw her?
Oh, 2 days ago? 3 days ago?
I will certainly keep an eye open for her, but I fear that even if she came to the church, there would be no way to protect her here. Not with the bones being lost.
Did anything odd happen? I mean, that would lead you to believe that the bones went a specific place, or was it just a surprise?
It was obvious that someone broke into the crypt below the altar and stole the bones.
Oh. It's horrible. I'm so sorry.
Kind of looks over at the boy sweeping and looks back at you and says, I will continue to hold mass, nightly mass, and provide sanctuary for the people that stay here at night, hoping, praying that they will be safe. I am afraid that I will be lying to them if they are truly unsafe.
Well, this is your story to tell, Father. I won't say anything. What time is Mass in the evening?
We're just starting to prepare. It'll be in 2 hours' time.
I think I'm going to try and find my companions, and we may be back for services.
Very well.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
And what was your name?
Enna.
Nice to meet you. I am Father Lucian Petrovich.
Thank you, Father Petrovich.
And do you leave?
I leave.
All right, where are you headed next?
I'm going back to the Blue Water Inn.
All right, let's move over to Smitty. Smitty, where are you at right now?
Heading towards Burgermaster's.
Got it. Okay.
Any signs about all this, Isaac?
Roll an investigation check for me.
22.
No, you do not see him.
Could I look for an alleyway or something that looks like there's not a whole lot of people in?
Sure. Yeah, you can easily find that.
All right. In the alleyway, I'm gonna pull out some rope and write Strahd.
Okay.
And just light it on fire.
What are you gonna write it with?
Rope. So I'm just gonna take out rope
Oh.
and kind of cut it in a sense.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And basically just light it on fire.
Okay.
So
In the alley?
in the alley. Yep.
Okay.
Then run away and hide real quick.
Okay.
So I'm just kind of in a place where I could. I
All right.
figured this
Roll-
is gonna draw them out.
Roll a roll a sleight of hand check.
All right. 8 plus 15 is 23,
Plus 15.
or 15 plus 8.
Oh, got it.
That's
Say,
backwards.
holy shit. Okay, so you get the fire lit, and then you're gonna kind of hide across the street or whatever.
Yep.
All right, so roll a stealth check.
That'll be 17.
Okay, you think you're pretty well hidden,
All right.
and now you're just gonna kind of wait for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna start yelling out like fire real quick too, and just
Okay, you're gonna yell out.
Yeah.
All right. So after about 2 minutes or so, some people like come by and they look down the alley and they it's a guy and a lady and she's like, "Oh my god!" and she like runs off. And 2 more minutes later, 3 of the town's guards run over, and it's still burning a little bit at this point. Some of it's burned out,
all right.
but they bring a bucket of water and they splash it out, and then they look down at it, and the guy's like, "Oi, hey, what does that say there?" And he's like, "Does that say what I think it says?" And the other guy's like, "I don't know, man, I can't read." "I think it says Rye Strahd." And the guy's like, "No, there's no way, man." And he's like, "No, I swear to God, it says it." He's like, "What the hell do you think it means?" He's like, "I'm not sure. We better report this back to Strasny." And they take off running.
All right.
And so they leave. What are you gonna do when they leave?
I'll stick around because I figured hoping they're gonna come back or something like that and look at it.
All right, so you're hunkered down.
Yep.
And you're just kind of waiting.
Just waiting.
All right. So let's see here. So in about 2 hours.
All right.
So it's gonna take about 2 hours
That's
before Strasny thinks that it's worth going to check out. So it's getting late in the day now. You're back at
Blue Water.
the Blue Water Inn. You're still at the Blue Water Inn?
Still at the
Okay, so you guys are at the Blue Water Inn. Is there anything you want to do?
I just wanted to bring Flint up to speed on what I found out,
Okay.
and I probably want to look at the vampire book a little
Okay.
bit.
Was there anything else that you wanted to talk to this minstrel about?
I'm trying to figure out if I trust the minstrel and if I wanted to get into a more in-depth conversation. If I wanted to ask him about what I wanted to find out about.
So was there anything specific that you were sort of trying to figure out in terms of if you should trust him or not? Like you could roll an insight check to see if he has like tried to deceive you at all or anything like that. If that's what you mean.
I just can't figure out if he's gonna go and tell the police that, hey, I was asking all these questions about this, that, and the other.
Roll an insight check.
I also want to say that I'm
22.
Yeah, you don't get the feeling that he has any love for the Empire. You can tell he's kind of like sarcastic about the festivals, and he was talking about the iron hand of the burgomaster, but just kind of keep your head down and stay out of their, stay out of trouble. And then what were you?
I was just going to say that I am going to note that he is also half-elf. The minstrel.
Okay, so you arrive and you see the
yeah.
minstrel and you see Flinta having a conversation.
Right.
And you sit down with them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, welcome to our conversation.
Hello.
Wow, another half elf. I
Yes,
see.
yes,
Welcome.
Yes.
My name is Rictavio.
I can see that.
Yes, aren't you a looker? And what's
Yes.
your name?
A matter of fact, I am. My name is Enna.
Welcome, Enna. Can I buy you a wine?
Yes, I would like a glass of
Very
wine.
good,
Thank
very
you.
good. He gets up and he
Thank you.
walks over to the bar. And you guys have a moment if you want to.
So I went to the bookstore and I went to the church and I found out some things. We don't have a lot of time. We can cover it later. What have you found out so far?
I've been talking to the minstrel here, and he is,
Think he's trustworthy?
I think he's pretty trustworthy. I don't think he's, I think he's kind of on our side, but I'm still kind of skirting him wide and not trusting too much. But I think he's got unique insight into what goes on around the area, and especially festival stuff tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm working on an idea of behind the scenes, getting in with the production crew of the festival to might give us a shot at
smart move.
Isaac that we're looking at.
Excellent. Well, I got a book. One of these books. I'm just gonna kind of quick show it to you here. I got one. I got one of these Rudolf von Richten books about vampires. The Great Vampire Hunt.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look it over later to see if there's anything that's of interest. But the bookseller's got 2 more books by this guy, and I want to kind of look this one over to see if it's just a bunch of malarkey or if it looks like it might be legit.
Okay.
And then I told him I'd be back for copies of the other ones later.
Alright, I got a feeling that our elf friend here has, I think he knows some things that would be interesting to talk to him, but keep it on the down low.
Yeah, fair enough. I had to bust my cover, but at Lady Fiona's, but so I'm gonna stick with Enna, but I'll keep you.
Oh, careful.
I'll keep you. Yeah, well, I had that letter from the guild, and I couldn't give a different name. If she wanted to look at that letter, I'd be sunk. So, I'm okay with that. I've got invisibility, so if I need to use it, I can. But I'll continue with Zach for you.
Okay.
So just so you know, that's okay with me.
As you kind of wrap up that conversation, Rictavio comes back with 3 goblets of wine, gives each one of you a goblet of wine, and says, "Drink with me, friends. It's not very often that I get to enjoy a drink with fellow adventurers."
Cheers, Rictavio. Where are you from?
From everywhere and nowhere.
Oh, the answer of a rogue. you don't seem as though you're from this place.
Oh,
you're dressed
no.
like Vistani, but you're a half elf.
I
So
think I'm dressed slightly better than Vistani.
well, you know what I mean.
I mean, look at these shoes.
Nice shoes.
Thank you.
But you've got some color, and that's not typical.
Well, I'm definitely not from Barovia. Let's put it that way. By hook or crook, I found myself, as I understand you and your group have found yourselves, sort of trapped in the valley. Looking for a way out has proved fruitless. So I play my music and tell my stories, but I've traveled extensively across the realms. Worked in a variety of different jobs, and a bit of a performer.
So what circle are you from, elf?
That's a great question, and one that's difficult to answer, being that my father was human, and I grew up with my father. Never spent much time with the elven folk, if that's what you mean.
Do you speak Elvish?
I don't.
So you really were raised as a human.
Yep, raised as a human, and spend a lot of time traveling.
Interesting.
My father was a performer, much like your friend here, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I kind of followed in his footsteps, becoming a bit of a player and a ringmaster, if you will, in a carnival of sorts.
Player is right. All right.
That's my story.
It's interesting.
And then
Interesting.
he kind of starts rattling off like some he'll trying to show off a little bit about some of his adventures and some of the hijinks that have happened along the way, and he kind of tells you a bit of a tall tale, and he's trying to impress you a little bit. So
I'm mildly charmed.
yeah, roll an insight. Roll an insight check.
20.
Yeah, you can tell some of it's BS.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, he's telling you stories of travels and adventures that he's had. But he's definitely, you can tell he's embellishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you ever traveled up the hill and performed at the big house up on top of the hill?
Which house are you referring to?
The big castle looking thing.
Ravenloft.
Mm-hmm.
I have not, and I don't hope to.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to steer clear of that evil place. I'm sure you know about Strahd, right? You're familiar with...
Yeah, we've heard stories, yes.
Yeah, he's a bit of a baddie, I would say. Vallaki perfectly safe, though. You have nothing to worry about here. As safe as anywhere, I guess.
I think the stocks out there tell another story, sir.
Well, to be honest, the Burgomaster is a bit of an ass. But, sometimes...
With those stocks out there, I don't think you should be saying that so loud.
Sometimes a bit of tough love is what it takes to keep a community in line, I guess. At least that's his philosophy.
Is it yours?
No. I'm more of a, well, I guess it depends if you're into that sort of thing.
Oh, my.
You can now see that his eyes are getting pretty like he's been drinking
Yeah,
quite a bit.
yeah.
His eyes are a little bloodshot.
Oh, friend, you've been having many, many drinks, and your tails get longer and taller with every mouthful of wine.
Yeah. He's curious about what you've done while you've been in Barovia. Please tell me a bit of your adventures before you came to Vallaki.
Wow, we've run into all kinds of strange things.
I ended up in the lake.
Lake Zarovich.
Mm-hmm. Happy with that. Happy we made it through that.
Do you tell him like what happened out there?
No, I keep it really vague. But,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want you telling them that I shapeshift.
No, I kept it really vague. That
Okay.
we're on a boat ride and tipped the thing over and.
Yes, my
Need to
friend
get back on
Zach
the
is
boat.
not fond of the water.
Yes.
He's really interested in your stories, and he tells you as much information as you're interested in, or if there's anything that you want to ask him at this point.
You know, we were trying to sell a rug to this Lady Fiona person.
Ah, yes, the Wachter family.
Have you met her?
I have indeed.
What's your take on her? She's kind of formidable.
She's got her own agenda, I will say that.
Yeah?
It's no secret that she hates the Burgomaster.
Yeah, she made that apparent to us, and all we were trying to do is sell a rug.
Yes, I imagine at some point there'll be a bit of an upheaval in this village, but who's to say what will happen? I don't know.
Yeah,
The
so...
Burgomaster rules with an iron fist, the Walkers have resources, and who knows what'll happen.
Well, what do you mean resources? Her house is ramshackle.
Oh, I've never been to the house.
Well, like I said, we're selling a rug, so we were given directions to her house. We went to the house to sell the rug, and the house is kind of, I mean, it's clearly one of the more grand buildings in the town, but it's still very run down. It's shown wear that it hasn't been taken care of. So when you say resources, that's why I'm surprised, and I don't mean any offense to anybody. It was just personal observation from a very short time that we were there.
Interesting. Yes. I guess all I know is that she somehow supports her two sons, who tend to have no lack of coin for spending on wine, and he kind of looks over at the two. It's the two guys you were talking to earlier.
Oh.
They drink a lot here. I see them here almost every night.
Huh.
So, I don't think they work much.
She didn't mention any sons. Then again, we didn't ask. We were just selling a rug.
Well,
so.
she's also got a daughter. Of course. Did you hear about the daughter?
No.
Some crazy daughter who's been locked away in the attic. Some sort of thing. I've only heard rumors, of course, but it's a strange place. There's a lot of things happening in Vallaki.
Huh.
But
Weird.
as far as Barovia goes, it's the safest place that I've found to, I don't know, blend in.
Why is her daughter locked up? What's the deal with that?
Can't say for sure. Rumor around town though is that she's gone mad.
Huh. Well, interesting. Yeah, we only met her and a butler. Some guy.
Yeah.
And that,
She's got the resources to pay for a butler. There's not that many here in Vallaki that could say the same.
yeah.
Well, unfortunately, my dear and my friend, I have some things to do this evening, so if you will excuse me, I imagine if you're staying here, I will see you later this evening or perhaps in the morn. But until then, I bid you farewell.
Farewell. Thanks so much for the glass of wine. Appreciate it. And the stories.
He gets up and he shakes your hand. You watch him as he goes back up to the table and he sets his goblet down, and he sets a couple of silver on the bar. And Danica, the woman who tends bar, hands him a handkerchief, like a package that's wrapped in a handkerchief, and hands it to him. And he does a nice flourish, like you can tell he's kind of tipsy. He does a nice thing, and then he bows and sort of walks out. And on the way out, he toodaloo, and he walks out into the streets. And at this point, it's starting to get dark. It's sort of like late afternoon, early evening, and we'll go back to you. You're hiding out in the alley across from where the vandalism occurred. It's been about 2 hours or so. Your kind of back is getting sore, and you're just like, Jesus, maybe I should get out of here. This didn't work or whatever. And all of a sudden, you hear sort of like you can hear armor like people coming down the street, and there's all of a sudden you see, and it's starting to get dark. You see 4 of the town's guard, and then you see another man, and you recognize him by the description to be Isaac Strahd. Bald, kind of. There's scars on his face. He's got armor on. He's got a battle axe strapped to his back, and it's very plain to see that he's got this scaly, sort of almost like dragon or draconian looking arm. He's not hiding it at all. It's front and center. And you hear him talking to the guards. You don't hear what they're saying,
Right.
Because he's talking in a really low voice. But they're having a conversation. They're standing right over the vandalism area on the. It was on the ground, right?
Yep.
Yep. He basically gives an order to the 4 guys, and they march off. And then he just kind of kicks sand over it and kind of scratches out with his foot and walks back to the town square in that direction.
All right. I'll start following him.
Okay. How are you gonna follow him?
I'll wait until he gets distance. And is there anybody out right now, just walking around?
Mhm.
Or, so I'll
Yeah,
wait.
there's people that are kind of scurrying around, like wrapping up their day, trying to get home.
All right. So as soon as I get some distance on him, I'll or as soon as he gets distance on me, I'll start walking down the street like casual and just walking slow and just following where he's going.
Okay, let's see. For this roll, I know you're not trying to stealth necessarily, but you are trying to follow him. So
I gotta be.
you're trying to sneak.
Sneak and not be noticed.
Roll. You can either roll a stealth check or a deception. You can either roll deception or stealth.
I'll go stealth. I guess.
Okay.
I got a 11.
Okay. Let me just look this up. An 11, you say? He stops for a minute.
All right.
He doesn't turn.
All right.
He just stops. What do?
I'll just keep walking past him.
Okay.
Then, is there any shops or anything like it's right over there?
So right by the town square, which you're walking through right now, was the apothecary shop.
All right.
Where Anya's shop was. The Third Eye Potions and Sundries, and it looks like there's like some sort of a knick-knack shop that doesn't have a name, but it looks like they're closing, like they're getting ready to close the doors. You do notice at this point as you're walking that the apothecary is closed.
All right.
And there's actually a guard standing sort of on the steps up to the front door of the apothecary.
All right. So I'll walk up there and I'll be like, shit. I must have missed it. What time is this place open again?
Who are you?
I'm just a visitor. I was like, coming to look
What's
at...
your name?
Oh, I'm Mike. He's like...
He you see him, he pulls out this little book and he opens it up. Mm-hmm. What are you here for, Mike?
Well, it's
He puts the
apothecary.
book away and puts it in his pocket.
Apothecary. He's like, I got a personal problem I'm looking to fix.
Well, what's that then?
A burning sensation.
Best keep your pants on next time. Apothecary's closed indefinitely.
Indefinitely. Well, where should I get my medicine then?
You're on your own, pal.
Oh, great. So I'll turn around and is Isaac moving at this point?
No, he's standing there watching you.
Alright. So I'll just like is
Roll
there
a
a place...
roll a perception check
All right.
right now.
12.
Okay.
Or sorry, 11.
So as you turn, you notice the guard. So you're turning from the guard to Isaac, and you notice the guard go like this.
All
And
right.
Isaac starts walking towards you.
All right.
Boys, the guard says, and he puts a dagger to your back. He says, "Step down onto the road." And Isaac
Sorry.
comes up to you. So he's walking up. You have like a second if you want to do anything.
All right. I'll. Like, hey, what is this? It's like, I was like, hey, what is this?
Do you have something to tell me? Says Isaac. Speak quickly.
Burning sensation?
You're about to feel more than that.
It's like, what is this about?
He says, do you have something to tell me about Thimdall's place?
Findle's place. What is that? I'll try to nonchalant, like, be deceptive.
Roll a deception check.
Findle's place, I've never heard of it. 19?
All right, hold on.
Try to say something deceptive.
Yep.
Never heard of it, huh?
Never.
We have it on good authority that you may have stolen something.
Stolen what? It's like
A dagger. Turn out your pockets.
All right, I'll empty them.
Do you have the dagger on you?
Probably. We didn't stash anything, so yep, I have a like dagger, and then I pull
Lay
out.
everything on the ground. All your weapons and all of your personal belongings.
All right, at this, I'm gonna try to get away.
All right.
So I'll act like I'm about to drop the dagger. Motherfucker, they already know who I am.
There are repercussions in this town, and we don't take theft lightly.
It's like it wasn't stolen. I was gonna offer him pieces for it.
Likely story, and with that, there's two other guards that come out of the shadows, and they come up to you with swords drawn.
All right.
So there's one guy behind you, and there's two guys flanking you, and then Isaac is right in front of you. And he says, "Boys, grab him." Do you resist as they try to grab you?
I don't resist.
Okay. So they grab you, and they drag you into the town square.
All right.
And there's a couple, it's getting dark, and there's a couple of people around still, and they're like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" And some, like, there's children, and, like, their parents grab them and, like, move them, like, walk away with the kids, really, you know, like, clearing out.
All right.
And he brings you, one of the other guards is gathering all your everything that you put on the ground.
All right.
And they walk you over to the stocks. And they say, "Theft will not be tolerated in Vallaki. It's part of the rules, it's part of the law. You're going to spend the night in the stocks, boy." And they lock you up in the stocks.
All right. But I got eyes on Isaac.
You can see him big time.
Right.
He's right there.
Sweet.
And he's like, "Let this be a lesson to you.
It's like, oh, I've already learned it. It's like,
We shall see. You'll learn indeed." And they lock it down. There's big padlocks on it, chains, and then they take a donkey head and stick the donkey head over your head.
All right.
So you can't really see much except like out of these two holes that are off center. So you can kind of see what's going on in the, like if you move your head, you know, you can kind of see out there, but it's bad. Like your perception is pretty rough. And they gather up all your stuff, and there's a guard posted at the stocks, and you're next to those other 6 people that are in the town square.
All right.
Yeah. So at this point, back at the Blue Water Inn.
Mm-hmm. We catch any evidence of stuff going on out in the street?
No, you're inside the inn. You wouldn't be able to see that. But what you may realize is where the hell's Smitty?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You seen Smitty?
I haven't seen him. Hasn't been in here yet.
Huh.
Smitty, as you're in the stocks, you appreciate how close you are to the gallows, and you also recall back to an earlier experience that you had in Barovia where you saw yourself hanging in the gallows, remember at the crossroads?
Yep.
And that's just that sort of scenario is playing out in your mind right now, and you're like, fuck.
He said just the penalty was overnight so far? Is that...
That's what he said.
All right.
Yeah. A night in the stocks. So anything that was on your inventory is gone.
Gone?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
I mean, keep a note of it, but you
All
don't
right.
have it anymore.
Got it.
Because I guess there's always a chance that you might be able to get stuff back, I guess.
Got
But
it.
for now, you have nothing on you.
All right.
They went through all your pockets, everything. They took all your gold. They took everything. and as they walk away, and the night is kind of getting dark and everything, it's getting cold. These kids come up and start throwing rocks at you,
All right.
and they're just like pelting the donkey's head, just like.
Am I right next to the guy I was smoking to today earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well,
He's like, "Long time no see."
yeah,
you done fucked up, mate.
yeah. I figured he was like, yeah. Well, I didn't want to waste my time with paying for a place to sleep tonight, so this seems like the easiest place.
All right, so Enna and Flinta, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So Flinta, I was at this church, right? I went down to the Church of the Morning Lord, and they have a service that's going to be starting here in a bit.
Yeah.
If it hasn't already, I think maybe it might make sense for one or both of us to go down there and kind of check out the I don't know, see who shows up for that service and what they're praying to and at.
Okay.
What do you think?
Probably wouldn't hurt. What's it gonna help?
Well, information gathering without asking a lot of questions is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go without you because that's what I told the father, but if you feel like you wanted to come with, you certainly can.
I'm kind of curious where Smitty's at.
Well, maybe we'll run into him on the way. Or maybe he'll see us from where he's at.
Yeah.
And
All right, I'll walk over there with you.
All right.
Lady Fiona have a church? Any idea?
I don't know. Didn't ask.
I wonder if she's part of this
Well,
outfit.
we can find out. Let's go.
All right.
All right. So we're coming out, and that's right at the town square.
It's about
right?
a block away from the town square.
All right. Do we have to walk through the town square to get to
It's the
the
other direction to get to the
church?
Yep.
Okay.
So you wouldn't conceivably, like, you wouldn't know obviously that what happened to Smitty, and so
Okay.
unless there was some reason that you wanted to go to the town square before you went to the church,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem like you did.
No, because
Yeah.
that was where he was heading, and we don't want to blow his cover. So I would say that we would probably steer clear, unless you can think of a reason, Flinta, that we would need to go that direction.
Not other than point and laugh at the people on the stocks. Flinta's strangely interested in that.
As you're exiting the inn and the tavern part of the inn, there's people that are like, "That was a great dance." They're like, "I hope you do it again. That was great. I just told all my friends to check it out next time. Are you going to be here for a while?"
No, I might be back.
Wow, I really wish I had seen that. That really sounds like it was something.
You missed out.
So you head towards the church.
Yep.
Okay. And as you head down towards the church, when you get close, you see that there's candles flickering. It's bright from the inside, and the door is open at this point. It looks like the service hasn't started yet.
Okay.
So you see people like trickling in, and it's families, it's young children and adults, and some of them have like backpacks, some of them have blankets under their arms, and they look like they're there for whatever's about to happen at the church.
Is there anybody that we recognize from earlier? Anya or
There-
the bookseller?
Anya
or
is not there.
Findle.
No.
Bethel Chevezny.
No.
Bartender's still at work.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're busy right now. The tavern.
Wachter.
No.
Family members. Okay.
No, there's a slight chance that you may have like recognized a face, but
Okay.
none of the people that you've like interacted with.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And you go in, and at the door is Father Lucian, and he greets you, and he's like, "Did you tell him his name? I can't remember, or your name."
Yeah.
Enna, welcome back. Thank you for coming. And you brought a friend. Hello, my name is Father Lucian Petrovich.
Hello, I'm Zach.
Welcome to St. Andrew's Church, Zach. Please, you're welcome. Find yourselves a seat. It looks like people are going to stay the night. Like, some people are there, like, to hunker down for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, anywhere is fine. Make yourselves at home. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it, and we welcome all.
Thank you. I'm curious about this theology, and I thought I'd come and see a service. My friend Flinta is maybe in need of a little theology, so I brought
Zach.
Zach.
Zach, Flinta, whoever,
Yep.
everyone's welcome. And so you walk in and find a seat on one of the pews, I'm guessing. And as you sit down, there's some very nice people next to you. They say hello, but they're not like overly talkative or anything, but they just say hello. And they're sort of just kind of getting ready for whatever the service is going to be. And you want to do anything before the service starts?
Other than seeing who else is there,
Yeah, like I said, you look around and you don't really recognize the faces of any of the people that you've had conversations with or anything like that.
Okay.
I'd like to use the restroom before service starts. I've been drinking ale all evening. And I should,
Probably a good idea.
take a leak.
Father Lucian says, the outhouse, of course, is out back.
Okay. I'm going to take the halfway long way there. Say that I'm bumbling around, but I'm going to go downstairs and look around a little bit.
Downstairs?
Yeah, from the church.
There's no downstairs that you would know of.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm looking around. Is there any nooks and crannies that I can...
There are four.
Look around in a little
There's
bit.
like
When
a,
you walk in
when
the
you-
hall, there's four doors.
There's 4 doors there. They're all currently closed. And he's standing at the sort of the main door,
Okay.
welcoming people as they come in, like as priests do, you know.
All right, so then I'm going to go...
But no, you don't know of a downstairs.
Okay, so then I'm going to go outside,
Okay.
use the outhouse, and take the long way back looking for an exterior entrance.
Yeah, the outhouse really stinks.
So,
Yeah, it's pungent. But you're able to take care of business.
okay. Then I'm going to go around the backside, investigate a little bit.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a way in to get to the basement.
Okay. Roll a investigation check.
Two.
It's really dark, and so it's kind of hard to see at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Combine that with the mist that seems to be sort of enveloping the area. You have a hunch for some reason that there might be a basement because that's what you're looking for. And you seem convinced that there probably is, but you just can't seem to figure out how you would get into it.
Okay.
And as you're walking back around, you see a young boy who's kind of running up to the front door of the church as if he's kind of like late for service or whatever. And that's it.
Okay. Then I'm going to go back in and find my seat.
Okay.
Sit back down again.
All right, so you go back in to the church, and as you do, the priest closes the door, and he goes up to the front and begins a service. Meanwhile, back in the stocks,
Yep.
you get a few rocks thrown at you. What's your AC?
Do they take off my... I guess my armor too?
What kind of armor do you have on?
Leather armor, I think.
No, they didn't disrobe you.
Alright. So my AC is 16.
Okay, so you get a couple rocks thrown at you early in your stocks situation. The first one hits for 4 damage, bludgeoning. What did you say your AC was?
16?
Okay, the second one misses. The third one hits you but doesn't do any damage. It just kind of bounces off. Just
Right.
annoying more
So
than
weak guy.
anything. And same with the last one. It just kind of hits you. So you get pummeled a few times. One of them actually is like, ow, what the? But the rest of them are just kind of annoyances.
Got it.
And I think that's where we'll end the night.
All right.
You're in the stocks and you're at church. Very interesting developments here in Vallaki. Yeah. Wow. Nicely done, guys.